Okay, somebody was knocking, so I had to stop for a moment. As you can see from the background, I'm in my car. This is really where I live. Um, the world, America, is what I'm really concerned with. I'm concerned for my family and myself, and I don't care how stupid it sounds, but because I'm an American, I'm concerned about America. I'm concerned about all the people in America. I'm I'm worried that we're not following the outline, the script that was written. The guys who wrote the Declaration of Independence, the guys who wrote that magnificent piece of magnificence, uh, I'm sure they didn't mean it to end this way. Of course, oftentimes I write things that sound so logical and so beautiful, so perfect, and then later on I might not follow it at all. But that's how it works when you're thinking seriously, thinking about something. You oftentimes can come up with the correct formula. You can put it down on paper just how it's supposed to be. And 5 minutes later, you may do something totally different from what you wrote, totally opposite, even. But America, America has gotten away from the whole concept of making the consumer, the working man, the taxpayer, the citizen. It has gotten away from making us an integral part of the system of America. Now, don't go off half cocked. I don't mean the government doesn't think about us. They think about us at every turn because we're providing money. The key here is that we've ran into the world of electronic transmissions, electronic transactions. That's where we are right now. Everything is on your phone line. All the satellites. We're having just really odd weather, terrible um, catastrophes and tsunamis and hurricanes, and it used to happen every once in a while. Now it happens every day. Um, we, people are being born quite often. People are living longer. We need more space, more room, and yet we're killing the space and room. We're cutting down trees, killing the forests. Uh, we have so many endangered species of animals. My God, man has become endangered. It's just that there are so many of us. I'd hate to think that the actual government was trying to get rid of some of us, but I'm an old guy, so I read quite a bit. But I'm thinking about George Orwell's 1984. I remember back in the late 60s, I was reading that, and it was very interesting. But I thought to myself, my God, that's so far away from America. We would never get to a point where Big Brother is watching us, but we have. We have. We're probably on the cusp of something really terrible happening. I'm not sure. I hope it doesn't. But those in charge, people, we have to do some things. We have to. Um, it's it's always difficult. No, I don't know. Always difficult. I'm being nice and generous when I say always difficult to turn back the hands of time, to go back to a simpler place in time. That hardly ever happens. People don't want to go back. They want to be considered real smart anyway. So it's not usually very smart to go back to having cars that weigh, I don't know, 7,000 pounds or burn 10 gallons of gas when you could burn 2 gallons of gas. That doesn't seem real smart. But I don't want to go into that. There are many things, many reasons why we won't turn back the hands of time. I want to stay with this computer, the thing I'm using right now. We can, I mean, there's no more intimacy in doing business. When you go to pay a bill, you don't usually go to a counter and pay somebody and get a receipt and then go home and keep your receipt for later records. It's difficult enough to save all your receipts. But today, the government society is pushing us towards doing everything electronically. They want you to have a debit card. Some people are okay with the credit card, um, but they want at least a debit card. Uh, they have not gotten to the point yet where they refuse cash money, but almost everything else is null and void. They want a credit card. Or you can do it on your computer. You could put money in your bank and give them the tracking number. And all those things make us think we're moving forward into new frontiers of technology and bettering ourselves, bettering the world. I'm not so sure about that. I thought, like everyone else, it was great. And because I was able to understand these new horizons, uh, I didn't shun moving forward. At some point, though, I began thinking, which we always shouldn't forget. You always should think. But I started thinking about some of my friends and some people I know who may not be so well equipped to deal with all the passwords and the ID numbers and clicking this button and tapping the screen to make it brighten up and reformalize and just so many things. I didn't think about all the people that were being left behind in this new age of electronic transmission. But the people at the top, since the government pushed us into this electronic transmission, the people at the top, not necessarily the government eventually, because they got a role like everybody else. The dollar bill is the real king. But the way to generate dollar bills today is with this computer, with electronic transmission. All the billions, zillions of dollars we spent on satellites and satellite communications. Everything is done through satellite. The guys in the Pentagon sit around and they know other countries are working on that. So whoever works on it, whoever gets ahead of the game, is ahead of the world. So if you have a system so complete, so thorough that you can triangulate some little roach at 9 million miles away, then you also have the capability to destroy him at 9 million miles away from you. So we moved towards that thing. We got that stuff together. This may sound stupid, but I'm no genius anyway. But I just couldn't understand. I saw on TV a couple of years ago or something that Bill Gates had given, I don't know, $50 billion to Warren Buffett. And both those guys are like, I don't know what they are, zillionaires, trillionaires, I have no idea. But a guy at the barbershop was arguing with me the other day, talking about this guy and that guy. You know, poor people always spend their time thinking about who has the most money. I'm talking to the guy, and he's telling me, naming people. I don't even want to know those people's names. Um, but as just a response, I said, well, you know, Bill Gates is still alive, man. And my response to him was structured uh, as to let's not take Bill Gates out of the richest guy in the world, because richest, powerful, most, I don't know, but if everything is leaning towards electronic transmission, satellites, computers, then I don't know how you can not put Bill Gates in the top two. Right? Should be the top. He probably is the top guy in the universe, um, because anybody that has more dollar bills than Bill Gates, they still have to deal with Bill Gates indirectly. If 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 this guy has $100 and Bill Gates has $90, but the guy with $100 is using his money on the computer, tracking numbers, debit cards, online stuff, then he's using some junk that Bill Gates created and modified and amended and whatever. So if he has 100 and Bill Gates started off with 90, Bill Gates will be more powerful eventually. I mean, you don't have to be real smart to know that. He's got to use the computer. The guy with all the money's got to use the computer. If I made the computer and amended it and modified it, I would write programs that would allow me some things that I would have one or two secrets that I would not give to the richest guy in the world. And I guess that's the way they do it. So anyway, it's terrible. I'm looking at TV, and the reason you see this background here, you see my car, is because this is where I'm living. Uh, I bought a house in 1997 for $131,000. Um, I got caught up in I tried to get a modification in 2009, and they gave me a forbearance. I was paying $10.26 a month with a negative amortization. I I might, if I had stayed there 30 years, I might have paid $1 million for a house that originally cost 131,000. But I paid about 162,000, I think, on the house that cost 131 already. But I bought it in 97, so 2009, I got the forbearance to help American citizens, working man, and they gave me $642 a month at 4% interest. That was with Wachovia. I paid that for 3 months, forbearance, modification. You have a trial payment. You have to pay 3 months, a 3 month trial payment. Then sometimes you have a balloon payment, not too big, 3-4 thousand. And then when they say if you did do that correctly, you'll have that for the remainder of your note. They say that. I don't know anybody that did the modification correctly, did not breach it, and got a lower payment, and it's 2 years later and they're still making the monthly payments at the lower modification rate. I don't know anybody. Okay, so I get that at $642 a month in Los Angeles, California. um, I pay that, and I call them after the three payments, and I ask them if I can get the $3,000 balloon payment chopped up into maybe 6 payments over the next 6 months, along with my 642 a month. And could I do it that way? And the lady at Wachovia, the representative, she tells me that Wells Fargo has bought out Wachovia Mortgage. Maybe she didn't say bought out. She said merged. I don't know if I got $1 billion and you got $100. It looks like a merge. You could say merge. You could say married. You could say hugging and kissing. I don't care what you say. But anyway, Wells Fargo bought out Wachovia. And I was wondering, well, what did that have to do with our prearranged deal that I've been paying for 3 months, going on 4 months now? What? And she said, well, the federal government, up until now, the federal government we only had a tentative letter for the stimulus that President Barack Obama and the federal government was offering to all these corporate American companies to help get them on track. Let me cut away from. How in the hell do you get off track when you're Ford Motor Company? How the hell do you make $120 million a day and then you get off track? How the hell? You ought to be whipped. You ought to be beat down. You ought to be sent to prison. You ought to be sent to Angola. That's where you ought to be sent. Anybody, and you get a stimulus, you get money. I mean, while you're talking about a stimulus, you should have some people in there that you trust who can better handle that job. You should have them in there training. And then when you give them the stimulus, have the new people take the money and go back to work for General Motors or Ford Corp or AIG or whatever the company. But there should have been some more penalties established with that kind of crap. Mr. Madoff, he's in prison. I don't know who wouldn't go to prison. Give me $62 billion. I might take a prison term. I don't know how bad prison could be, or I don't know how bad anything could be if I got $62 billion. Nobody else has that. So, well, Mr. Buffett, Mr. Gates, yeah. But with $62 billion, I don't imagine I'd have a rough time in prison. Because everybody in prison wants to be my friend if they think I have $62 billion. I was in prison. I know guys that had a little money that they wanted to spread around. They pretty much got whatever they needed. And none of them had close to $62 billion. So anyway, that's a bunch of crap. So let's go back to the mortgage. I'm paying the $642 a month. And in Los Angeles, you can't rent my car. This car I'm in now, I might let you rent the back seat for $642 a month. But anyway, I tell Wachovia, no, I'm keeping the six. I don't want to review and renegotiate and do a remodification. You can't do but one anyway. So they call me back the next day and say, oh, this is not a modification. This is a forbearance. Okay, I don't want a new I'm good. So the lady says, well, now we don't just have the tentative letter from the federal government, the stimulus. It's the money's come in, and Wells Fargo has bought the company. So I said, well, I asked her, does that have something to do with you wanting to redo my loan again? And she said, no. And I say no. I don't figure, come hell or high water, I don't figure I can get a better deal than $642 a month. So I say no. I'll stay where I am. I'll stand pat, fool. So they call me back in a day or so, and the lady says to me, you breached your contract. You breached your forbearance because your third payment did not post until August the 7th. She may have said the 6th. But it cannot be 5 days late. You don't get the 15-day grace period if you have a forbearance or a modification. You have to pay it on the first or the second or third. But I tell her, well, it posted on the 6th or the 7th. You can post it when you want to post it. And then she gives me a bunch of crap, and I say, lady, what are you trying to tell me? You can you might have posted it on the first, but since I wouldn't roll with your new deal about flipping my forbearance and getting a new modification plan because Wells Fargo bought your company, uh, it's your company. You could take my payment and erase all the postings, and just type in the 6th. You might not even let some knucklehead clerk do that. You might do it yourself. I don't know. What the hell do I? How do I know? All I know is I sent it when I sent it, and I had proof of it. Um, well, I had proof of when I bought the money order. I thought about that later, and proof of buying the money order. I'm just an American, a citizen, a taxpayer. I don't want to go over that again, but if we got to court somewhere, if we got to court, they would probably tell the judge, oh, he has a receipt when he bought the money order at Nick's check cashing. That doesn't mean he mailed it that day, Your Honor. And if he didn't send it certified, or even when you send it certified and all that stuff, sometimes the mail doesn't get there. I send my dad some stuff in New Orleans. Sometimes he gets that in 2 or 3 days. Um, I'll send a payment from right here in South Central LA in the ghetto to the City of Industry. All those big companies have post office boxes in the City of Industry, by the way. You probably already know that. But I'll send it right there to the City of Industry, and it might take 5 or 6 days to get there. It's like you could get there on a bicycle in an hour. How can it take 5 days? Jesus. But I won't editorialize, or you just figure it out yourself. So anyway, I got the new payment, and I don't want to change 642. But then they tell me I breached the contract, and so I tell them, okay, well, give me a new mortgage rate. So they tell me to wait. So now it's at the end of the month. Remember, I made 3 payments. I'm trying to get the fourth payment straight now. So I call them before the next payment, and I say, well, did you review it? I mean, well, we have to go through the process. What process? I just went through it. I got all the packages right here. I got the package right here. I could just make copies. What's changed? Nothing's changed. You want me to just send it to you? No, no, no. We don't. No, we got to do it again. Don't worry about it. I said, yeah, but the first of the month is. No, don't worry about it, Mr. Rooney. Don't worry about it. You don't have to pay it. We're reviewing it. You're okay. You're a good risk. Good risk. They kept telling me that. Okay, so I don't worry. Now it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, back to school, all of that. So I'm calling them. I got records of me calling them, and they're telling me don't worry about it. So when it gets to December, the lady calls me and she says, we're going to do something in January, and we're going to finish these papers. And then the light goes off in my head. I'm thinking, oh, when you do this modification package, you got to have your income, your outgo, your bills. You got to have, all that stuff. And with that, it's not just your income tax form. You could send that, which I did at first. But you need a form called a 4506T, which is you sign that, and it allows the mortgage company to go to the federal government and get all your federal records. Okay. So, obviously, in the summer of 2009, I signed the 4506T for my tax information in 2008. So now here we are. In 1 month, they'll have all my records for 2009. So she wanted to wait until January then I could sign a new 4506T. So we waited, and she waited till the end of January. I'm calling and calling and calling. You get used to not paying some kind of rent or house note, but I'm worried. My stomach is upset. I got a family. I got kids. I don't want to. I don't want you to just slide around. If you make a mistake with me, and I've been paying something for 15 years. If you make a mistake, one time, I don't know. I'm not Charlie Dogood, the Good Samaritan. I might roll with that, but now when several months go by, now I'm worried. No, I don't want any deals. No, let me pay some. Give me something low, a low price. Give me something cheap. Okay, I can roll with that. But but no, I don't think that I don't have to pay. So I'm all nervous. So finally, they give me we start the modification plan again. I get the modification plan and got to get new papers, new stub, check stubs, all that. So I get all that. Bills are the same. Hardship. My water pipes under my house, not just under the house, under the cement in the driveway leading from my house to the meter in the street. They were busted. I just found out those pipes were laid. I don't I don't remember if it was 1943 or 1949, but I'm correct about the 40s. It's 43 or 49. So those pipes were pretty old. Galvanized steel or something. Everybody uses copper today, but I understand that. But mine were busted. You step down on the big cement squares in my driveway, and when you step down on it, water is coming. Man. So I don't even have a jackhammer. I get a sledgehammer from a plumber. I know a plumber guy. He's 79 years old, Leroy Brown. He's just kind of sick now. He's on oxygen and stuff, but he knows a lot of stuff. So I figure I can still work a little bit. Let me get him, and because he knows everything, and I can do the physical labor, so I get him. And boy, I spent a lot of money. Thank God he was there, because if I had just paid a plumber, boy. But he showed me what to do. I fixed the leak. I had to tear up all that cement. That was the real big work. Um, but that was a hardship. Then my car went out, and then my wife's car went out. Both cars needed rebuilt motors. When it rains, it pours. We ain't talking about a generator, alternator, radiator, brake shoes. We're talking rebuilt motors and a transmission for Lisa's van. So I got to get that done. So now I'm kind of glad. I don't want to use glad, but it's okay that they didn't charge me a house note or didn't finish my modification in the Christmas season of '09 and January of 2010. But I certainly used the money. And it wasn't like because I wasn't paying a house note, I bought my kids a bunch of stuff for Christmas. They still were as underprivileged as one could be. Let me not say that though, because where I live in the ghetto, it was surely some kids who had less things than my kids had. But in comparison, summer camp and shopping at the Beverly Center and Rodeo Drive, what full of shit. The only reason they know Rodeo Drive because they see um, Tyra Banks or Oprah Winfrey. Beyonce or somebody shopping, or they don't have any idea what that shit is all about. This world is so jacked up. Um, Everything would be better if some people didn't make zillions of dollars. If everybody made $100, man, the world would be fun. Are people too greedy to see that and understand that? That if everybody made, decent money, of course, you're a hustler, a go-getter, you might make a little more, but you can't make a million and other people are making 50 cents or begging for quarters at the gas station. It just can't be like that. Streets are all messed up on Vermont Avenue. It'll tear your car up. Go to work for 6 months. Drive that route on Vermont between Florence and Vernon, and you got to get a new car, or you got to do a lot of chassis work, new shocks. All these guys fighting for bids to lay the blacktop and stuff. Look how you could help the economy. Get one of those companies, or don't get the company. Get a guy who used to work for one of those companies. Get and put some money on the table. Ask him to teach some neighborhood guys who live in that neighborhood how to lay that blacktop and fix the street. Man, them guys ain't worked. Some of them guys ain't worked since high school. That's why they dropped out anyway, because they had to try to get a dollar some kind of way. Had to get a dollar. They wasn't going to never have a car. They weren't going to never have a car. Wasn't never going to be able to take their girlfriend to Magic Johnson Theater. No, because ain't nobody got no money. Which is why a lot of them get in trouble and do crime and rob. And mostly they want to sell dope because that's kind of entrepreneurial if they can't sing or dance or run real fast or jump real high. I don't know what the hell else. But anyway, I get the deal. And we do the modification in 2010. It's February, March now. So we do the modification. Wells Fargo has bought Wachovia. They said I breached the other modification for $642 a month, which now is last summer. It's getting to be some months now. I haven't paid rent, house note. So they want to do it again. We're doing it, and then I get chesty. What I wanted to say is, bitch, I am so sick of your ass talking to me like you are my second grade teacher and just talking so bad to me. I said, lady, I don't want to do this shit on the phone. Let me come and see you. Let's do this over the table. Let's do this deal. So they wait for that. Maybe they wait a couple of weeks, and they send me way out to Long Beach somewhere near the pier. Some little office they rented. Come on, Wachovia, Wells Fargo. Some little office looked like it used to be a damn donut shop or some shit. I go out there, me and my wife, we go out there and we talk to them. We bring them all our check stubs. I'm making $10 an hour. I'm the caregiver, the butler, the maid for George Hunt, who is the former superintendent of the Los Angeles Probation Department. Ain't that a joke? Not a joke. That's ironic, I guess. I mean, I'm a good guy. I was in trouble back in 1986. It's 2011 now. But I'm taking care of him, doing everything, okay? And I'm making $10 an hour. My wife's a nurse at a facility in Westwood, down the street from UCLA. She's making $10.50 an hour. We got 3 kids. Anyway, so we bring all that information to Long Beach, and the lady, an Asian lady, she's driving a brand new Range Rover. She's about 24 years old. She's pregnant. She's Asian. She has rings and chains on and piercings, and yeah, she looks like she's doing okay. She could have been fooling me though, with that brand new Range Rover out there and all them jewels on and stuff. But she talked to us, and she says, "Okay, we're gonna get the modification," and we leave. She's gonna mail all the information to us. So a week, 2 weeks go by. We get it in the mail. I'm just happy as hell. So I don't even look at the last page. I think it's 3 pages. I don't look at it. I uh, I just fold it up and breathe a sigh of relief and thinking, okay, my house is okay. I'm so then about I don't know a week later, somebody from her office called me, Miss Kim, the Asian lady, and she said, "You didn't send the paper in, Mister. What paper?" She said there were 3 or 4 pages. The last page, you have to sign it and send it back in. Oh, I didn't know. When I don't see a self-addressed envelope, I don't know that I have to send something back in. So I guess I got an envelope and signed it and sent it in. But when I signed it, I really kind of perused the other 3 pages, and the house note was 1,500 a month. I make $10. My wife makes 10.50. You got that? 1,500 a month. I know the federal government used to say, well, used to give you. There was a rule in place that you had to pay 25% of your income for your living expenses. Well, for your rent or house note. Food and clothing, and that's living expense, but that doesn't go with that. But 25% for your rent or house note. If together we're making $20, $20.50 an hour, I don't know how you can add up 1,500 a month. That must be 65%. So I call her. She's out on maternity leave or some stuff. I talked to a lady. I won't say her name here on the thing. I talk because she's black and I'm black, and you know how that works. She may be fired right now because I talked to her. You'll find out later. But I called and she just answered the phone. She works there, so I told her my situation. I said 1,500 a month. I had no idea. I can't pay that. And she said, "Well, you got to pay something." She set up the amount again. I said, "Yeah, I know how they do it, child. You can send a payment in, and they'll say, 'Goddamn, we posted it. You sent it in December. We posted it in June.' They can do what they want to do." So I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, what was your last monthly house note before the modification, the first one?" I told her 10.26 a month. She said, "Well, you got to send that, Mr. Rooney. This is off the record." But I can't go against what Miss Kim said. I'm just telling you, you can talk to her when she gets back from her maternity leave. And that sounds good. So I don't want to be stuck not paying. So, oh, and this is the lady said this to me, gave me that advice after I faxed the same information to her that I had given to Miss Kim when I went to Long Beach for the modification. Mainly the check stubs of me and my wife for months. She didn't need all of them. She needed, I think, 3 or 4 paychecks from each one of us. So she said, "Yeah, that seems like a lot, but like I said, it's off the record." Yeah. So no more mailing payments. I went to the bank, Wells Fargo Bank, 141 West Adams Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. I went in the bank and made my payment of 10.26. Got a receipt, my name and everything on it. And that was in June 2010. In July, on the 1st of July 2010, I go into the bank and make my payment. In August, I go in and make my payment. Um, After the August payment, uh, the bank teller, gave me a paper, and it said call Wachovia, and there was a phone number on it. No other information. I got a cell phone, but I didn't even go outside. I went to the assistant manager's desk. Juanito, John Gonzalez. I went to his desk, and we called him. He called him and gave me the phone. I talked to them, and they got on me about not paying the 1,500 a month. Rather, I was paying the 1026. So I said, well, okay, and I'm old school, so I know how to be sorry, and. And so she's telling me about it, but she's not mentioning. Well, you didn't pay 1,500, asshole. All you paid was 1026. Goddamn, I'll slap the shit out you. But I mean, you won't send me to San Quentin like you would do to somebody who doesn't pay anything. So she never says it. I never get that from her. So then I ask her, well, the 1026 is did you get that? And she said no. Now I'm upset. I'm upset. This receipt I got in my hand says I just paid it. And then I think, oh yeah, just the modification. I'm just paying this one now. But you should have July and June. But she doesn't. And I don't know. Maybe it goes in a separate account that says modification or something. Or forbearance or something. So I'm pissed off, but I leave the bank. And I leave the bank and I go home. And then I go in the next month to pay them with the money order. And they won't accept it. Now I'm nervous. I'm not as pissed off now. I'm more nervous than pissed off. So I'm tired now. I'm tired. Well, I've been talking a long time, but I'm tired thinking about what more I have to tell you guys. So, but they wouldn't accept the payment, and I spent the next. Oh wow, that's all I did was call Wachovia and Wells Fargo every day, 2, 3 times a day for the next 6 months. I went to seminars, conventions. I went in Upland, California. I went in San Diego to these places where they have these millions of computers and little young interns, I guess, that work for them as representatives. But I went to Upland, California and brought my receipts. Those people had no record of me paying anything. June, July, August 2009, 642 a month at 4% interest. They had no record of it. No record of the balloon payment to be followed in November. No record of the modification. No record of the second modification. No record of me paying 1026 as a walk-in payment to the bank at 141 West Adams Boulevard, June, July, and August of 2010. I have the receipt, but they have no record. I look at my receipt and it has 4 numbers on it top. Everything else has my name, address, everything. But at the top it has 4992. Erica is the bank teller that I paid at Wells Fargo Bank at 141 West Adams Boulevard. 4992. I don't know who the hell that is, what that is. So I'm pissed off. They don't have any of these 6 payments that I made. I come home. I'm pissed. It's late though. I gotta wait till Monday. I go to the bank on West Adams Boulevard on Monday. I go and talk to John Gonzalez. He's there. Um, he goes in the back and talks to a new manager, bank manager. That guy goes away for a half hour. We're sitting in the front at Gonzalez's desk. He comes out, the manager comes out and gives me a paper that says call Wachovia again. I said, sir, I know you can't transact forbearances and modifications. I just wanted you to check my receipt with the payments that I just made a couple of weeks ago. Uh, June, July, and August, I want you to check, but this one for sure, because I got the receipt right here. Um, and he said, I can't talk to you about it. You fucking can't talk to me about my money that I just gave you in your bank, fool? Um, it was kind of tay-to-tay in that fucking bank. Um, but anyway, I got my receipt back from that fool, and I got out of there. And now I'm really, wow, I'm terribly upset. I'm tired now. I'll give you the rest of it when I get back on. I got to get out and stretch my legs. I don't have much room space or leg space in this car. I wish I had a TV in here. Some people have a TV in their car too. Yeah. Some people got a lot of shit in their car. But see, I ain't that pissed off because most of my friends don't even have a car. Okay, well, talk to you later.